All right, so one of the first concepts that we really need to understand is liquidity pools. And what are liquidity pools? So simply put, a liquidity pool is essentially a pool of assets where you can trade between assets. So for example, if you think about somebody who's selling tomatoes, that tomato salesperson creates a liquidity pool between whatever they're going to accept for buying the tomatoes and the actual tomatoes. So if they're going to accept, let's say, United States dollars, they're going to have some pool of some United States dollars, and they're going to have some tomatoes. Now that they have those two assets, people can trade between those assets. So you can give them some United States dollars, they can give you some tomatoes out, or you can give them some tomatoes and they can give you some United States dollars. All right. So to understand liquidity pools, a little concept that you kind of need to understand that were there before liquidity pools are what are called order books. Now, order books are essentially old school way of trading. So if you are familiar with the stock market and you understand stocks have traditionally been traded through order books. And what that means is there's buyers and sellers. So you have some buyers and you have some sellers, and then you have organizations who essentially create these order books. And what the order books do is they basically just bring the buyers and the sellers together. You have a buyer that says, hey, I want to buy 10 tomatoes for $10, and you have a seller that says, hey, I want to sell 15 tomatoes for $17. So you have a sell order where someone wants to sell 15 tomatoes for $17, and you have a buy order where somebody wants to buy 10 tomatoes for $10. And you see those price discrepancies, and now everybody in the market can see, okay, hey, who is wanting to sell and what are they wanting to sell for? Who's wanting to buy? What are they wanting to buy for? If trades happen naturally where someone says, hey, I want to sell 10 tomatoes for $10, and someone says, hey, I want to buy 10 tomatoes for $10, then boom, they've matched up. Their orders have matched up. Someone's looking to buy, someone's looking to sell, so their order matches up. Ooh, excellent, it executes. If not, then the market can see who's wanting to buy what and what quantities and for how much, and who's wanting to sell what and for how much and what quantities, and then the market itself can then go in and actually self-adjust, meaning that the buyers can go in if they really, really want to buy and they want to have right now, they can go adjust their bids to match what the sellers are actually wanting, which means that the price is essentially going to go up because there's pressure to buy. The buyers want to buy and they want the tomatoes right now because they got to go make some sandwiches or they got to go make some sandwiches or whatever. All right? Or maybe the sellers, they realize their tomatoes are getting old and they have a new shipment of tomatoes coming in and they really want to get rid of the tomatoes. So now there's sell pressure. So now if the order books aren't matching up, meaning this guy wants to buy 10 tomatoes for $10, this guy wants to sell 17 tomatoes for $20, the books aren't matching up. Now the market can again go and adjust. So the seller can go in and say, you know what, I'm under pressure, I need to sell this, I need to sell my tomatoes, they're going bad, I got some new ones coming in, so let me go and adjust my bid and let me go in and adjust my order to sell to match an order from a buyer so that we can match up and we can get sold immediately, and I don't have to wait for the buyers to adjust. So this is what has typically happened in the stock market, are order books. Now, one of the things that crypto has done to innovate, now in this system of order book system, hopefully you can understand you need both parties. You need someone willing to buy and you need someone willing to sell. So you need both parties, and then both parties need to actually match up and they need to agree on the price and the quantity for the transaction to actually happen. So in the market, in this type of market, there could be long delays because you could have only buyers and no sellers. You could have sellers and only sellers and no buyers. And it's subject to volatility. So not only could there be delays because orders aren't actually matching up, but there could be volatility because all the sellers are coming together, all the buyers are coming together, all the order books are going, and now it depends, okay, are there more buyers than sellers? If there's more buyers than sellers and more people wanting to buy right now than are wanting to sell right now, the price is just naturally going to go up. That's supply and demand, right? There's less of a quantity and more people who are actually wanting that thing, versus if there's a lot more sellers than there are buyers, and those sellers are wanting to sell right now, and they're wanting to get rid of their things and get the other thing right now, then the price begins to actually go down. Now, and these markets have hours, you know, the people running these order books, you know, and this is the New York Stock Exchange right there. That's the New York Stock Exchange. The people running these markets, they like to sleep, and they like all the money that they're making. They like to go spend that money up on their yachts and, you know, their kids and whatever it is they spend all their money on, all right, zebras and stuff. So they also like to have time off to go spend all the money that they're making from the market. So the market has to close, so it's not always open. So where crypto has, one of the places that crypto has really innovated is it has got rid of this centralized market and created decentralized exchanges where there are these things called liquidity pools. And again, all the liquidity pool is, as you think of, it's a bucket here, and inside that bucket you have two different assets, all right? So I'm going to give you a real life example for one of our cryptos in our ecosystem, all right? So our crypto in our ecosystem, we have, it's called Mu. And then with Mu, we have another pairing of, let's say, USDC. Okay, so we have basically a bucket, and inside this bucket, we have two different assets. We have some Mu coin, and we have some United States dollar coin. Now, this liquidity pool itself is actually a smart contract. So it's a smart contract, just like the crypto. Hold on, just 1 second. I've done something. I did something. Hold on. What did I do? Plug my computer apparently. All right, don't worry. I'll just edit that part out. I'll just edit that part out for you motherfuckers. How about that? All right, so this liquidity pool is a smart contract just like our cryptocurrency. So if you remember, if you don't remember, and if you're still don't understand the basics of cryptocurrencies, I would encourage you to watch my other videos. All right, so just like our cryptocurrency, the liquidity pool itself is a smart contract. And you basically take the assets, the two assets, and you give those assets to that smart contract. And the smart contract, the liquidity pool, it acts as a buyer and a seller. So it acts as two different parties. It can be a buyer, it can be a seller. So it can buy Mu or sell Mu, it can buy USDC, or it can sell USDC. So in order to buy USDC, it's going to sell some Mu. So it's going to sell some Mu, and it's going to get some USDC. So someone's going to take some Mu out, and it's going to get some USDC. So it's essentially selling Mu, it's buying USDC, or it could flip the other way. It could buy some Mu and sell some USDC. So someone could give it some Mu, and then it's going to receive that Mu, and it's going to give out some USDC. So it operates as the buyer and the seller in a transaction. Well, oops. It doesn't operate as the buyer and the seller at the same time, all right? So just be clear on that. But it can be either one. It could be the buyer or the seller. It just needs the other party. So if a seller comes along and says, hey, I want to sell some Mu, the liquidity pool says, okay, cool, I'll buy some Mu. If a seller comes along, or if a buyer comes along and says, hey, I want to buy some Mu, the liquidity pool says, okay, I'll sell some Mu. All right, so it operates as the other party in the transaction, and it does it through a non-order book system. It does it through an actual algorithm, a mathematical function called a constant product algorithm. And a constant product algorithm looks something like this. And it looks something like this in its basic form. All right, there are protocols that use derivative of this function that allows for more than two assets. They allow for multi-assets, and those assets can be weighted at different weights. All right, but we're just gonna not go crazy with mathematics. We're just gonna be super simple. It is a super simple function. A times B equals K. So once you create this liquidity pool and once you initialize this liquidity pool, then this product K is a constant, all right? So, and this is how pricing is done. Pricing, all the pricing inside the liquidity pool can be derived. You can literally go in and accurately predict exactly what a price of an asset is going to be based on the information in the liquidity pool and based on this constant product. All right, so to give you a real life example, all right, we're going to turn this into mu times USDC is equal to K. All right, and we're just going to talk about our crypto and part of our ecosystem. So when we launched MuCoin, again, which is a smart contract, when I launched MuCoin, I created a maximum total supply of 1 million coins. All right, so there's a maximum total supply of 1 million coins. There can never be any more created. It's impossible for any more coins to get created. So I took these 1 million coins and then I paired them with 25,000 USDC coins. I bought these on the market. I bought some United States dollar coins, which is another crypto asset. I bought some of them on the market. I bought 25,000 of them, which they're stable coins. We'll talk about those in another video, but they basically are pegged to the United States dollar and are always worth $1, give or take 1/10 of a cent. So give or take, give or take 1/10 of a cent, or you can look at it, you can look at it like this, whichever one that you want. So if you're looking at dollars, if this is dollars, then that's 1/10 of a cent right there. All right, so they're pretty stable. So I took 25,000 of those, I paired them with 1 million mu coins. Okay, and this has given us a constant product of 25 billion, I believe, if I'm doing the math right in my head. All right, so this has become our constant product. This is now going to become constant, and the price of an asset is all going to depend based on this algorithm. So if you want to know how much a particular asset is going to cost, you can just fill out this algorithm. All right, so in order to fill out this algorithm, you need to know the current values in the pool, and you need to know which one of the assets are you wanting to give to the pool, or which one of the assets are you wanting to take away from the pool, and how many of those assets are you wanting to actually, how many of those assets are you wanting to take away. All right, so if you want to buy some MuCoin, for example, and you want to buy $1,000 worth of MuCoin, then essentially you're going to be adding $1,000 here. So you're basically going to be solving for a function where you're looking for what, and you're going to say what times $26,000 is equal to my 25 billion, and then this is x, okay? So now you're going to be able to now go in after you know this, after you get this x, you'll be able to calculate two different values. You'll be able to calculate the price of mu in terms of United States dollars, and you'll also be able to calculate your 1 million minus x, and that is going to be the number of tokens that you're going to, actually receive. All right, so hopefully this has made sense to you so far. But this is just the basic inner workings of the liquidity pool and how the trading algorithm works. So this is how almost all of the trading algorithms work if it is a two-coin system. Like I said, there are some protocols that allow you to have more than 2 coins. That they allow you to have more than 2 coins, and they work on a little bit of a different function. All right, so a few things that you need to know about these liquidity pools. When you first create the liquidity pool, you get to define these values here. You get to define how much of each token are you going to put in that liquidity pool if it's a new pool that's never been created before. If the pool's already been created, you don't get to, if the pool's already been created, you don't get to define that. So you don't get to define, if the pool's already been created, you don't get to define what the exchange rate is. So you get to define one value, meaning like right now, if you wanted to go add liquidity to this pool of mu and USDC, if you wanted to go add liquidity to that pool, well, you wouldn't get to define how much mu and USDC you would be adding to that pool, because there's already been a constant product that's been created when that pool was initialized and initially set up. So you could only define one value. You could say, hey, I want to add this much mu to the pool, and the pool will say, okay, well, you need this much mu. You also need this much USDC in order to keep this product constant over here, in order to actually keep a constant product. Now, keep in mind that that's actually going to change the product. That's going to change this value whenever you're adding more values in. But whenever you add more values in, you're going to be adding them in this exact ratio in which they're already inside the pool. All right? So if you have inside the pool already, if you have the pool right now has this ratio where for every one coin, there's 25 of the other coin, you can't add tokens to that pool and say, hey, I want to add 6 of these tokens and 7 of those tokens, because it's not the right ratio. You can only say, hey, I want to add 3 of these tokens, and it will say, okay, well, you need 75 of these tokens. Or you can say, hey, I want to add 5 of these tokens, and it will say, okay, well, you need 5 of these tokens, and you need 0.2 of these tokens, all right? Because all that stays constant, so people can't go in and do liquidity pool manipulation. And liquidity pool manipulation, how liquidity pool manipulation would work is someone would come in and they would initialize a liquidity pool, and let's say they initialize a liquidity pool. Let's say they go in and they actually initialize a liquidity pool in a 1-to-1 ratio, all right? Where for every 1x, there's 1y. And let's say you go in and now you buy 100x, and that ends up costing you something like 122y, right? Now, if they were able just to go in and set whatever prices that they wanted at any time, they could go in and empty out this pool, and they could go in and essentially now reconfigure this pool where what you purchased is useless, and they could go in and say, okay, hey, now I'm going to put in this pool where it's 100x equals 1y. So now you just lost a lot of money, all right? Because now they've devalued your x. All right, so hopefully that makes sense how this works. Now, one other thing that you really need to know about liquidity pools, are that liquidity pools have their own tokens called LP tokens. Okay, so liquidity pools have their own tokens. They're called liquidity pool tokens, and that token is basically your receipt that you've provided liquidity to the actual pool. All right. So how those tokens work? All right, how those tokens work is let's go in and do some really easy math, where let's say I want to give 1x and 1y to a pool. All right, so I'm going to give those to the pool, and the pool is in return going to give me back an LP token, and let's say it's going to give 1. It's going to give 1 token back to me, and I'm going to be holding the token. Now, again, just trying to use very simple math so that no one gets confused with the fancy numbers that are going on my whiteboard. All right? So now inside that liquidity pool, there's 1 total token. All right? This was person 1. Now, person 2 comes in and they say, hey, I want to give 1x and I want to give 1y. So guess what happens? The liquidity pool is going to take in is going to take in their tokens, and it's going to give them back 1 LP token. Now the LP total is 2. Now let's say person 3 comes in and says, hey, I want to give 3 of each tokens. So now the liquidity pool is going to take that in, and it's going to print him off 3 liquidity pool tokens. Now there's essentially 3, 4, 5. There's 5x and there's 5y inside the liquidity pool, and there's 3 different people who have provided liquidity. Person number 1 provided 1x and 1y token, gave them to the liquidity pool. In return, the token has given them 1 liquidity pool token to represent their portion of the liquidity that they've provided to the pool. So now at the very beginning, there's only 1 liquidity pool token, and it's owned by 1 person, so that person owns 100% of the pool. So at any time, the liquidity provider, the person who is providing the tokens to the pool for trade, that liquidity pool provider can take his token, give it back to the liquidity pool. The liquidity pool will destroy that token and will send that person out their share of the liquidity. Okay, so now you can see person 3 could say, you know what, I'm not interested in providing liquidity between x and y anymore. I've provided 3 x's and 3 y's. I want to go get some a's and b's. So now he needs to get his tokens out of this liquidity pool. So what he's going to do is he's going to take the liquidity pool tokens that he was given by the liquidity pool. He's going to give those back to the liquidity pool, and the liquidity pool is going to say, oh, you have 3 out of my 5 total tokens, so I need to give you 3/5 of all the tokens that are inside my liquidity pool, which are 5 x's and 5 y's. So I need to give you back 3 x's, and I need to give you back 3 y's. Okay? So that you need to know that liquidity pools, they have their own tokens, and the token holders that hold these liquidity pool tokens, those are the people that can take the liquidity pool tokens, they can give it back to the liquidity pool, and they can remove the assets from the liquidity pool, and they can get those assets back. All right? That is the function of liquidity pool tokens. They are minted whenever more liquidity is given to the pool, and they are burnt, they are destroyed. Minted means they're created. This contract creates more of those tokens. It just mints them out like the federal government does with dollars every single day. So it just mints them out and creates them as a receipt of someone providing liquidity. And when someone wants to remove their liquidity, they give back those tokens. The contract burns those tokens, it destroys them, and it gives them back out their portion of the liquidity. All right? So now why would anybody want to provide liquidity? Like, why would anybody want to provide liquidity? And are there any risks? Are there any risks, guys? Hope you like my marijuana pants that I'm wearing today. Are there any risks? So the short answer is yes, there are risks. And why somebody would want to essentially provide liquidity. I don't understand what happened there. Why somebody would want to provide liquidity is for the fees, okay? So in the liquidity pool, in order for people to trade, they have to pay a fee to the liquidity pool, all right? So if you want to trade, you're going to pay a fee, and that fee is usually around 0.03%, all right? So that is the liquidity pool fee per trade. All right? Meaning if you want to trade $10, you're going to pay 3 cents. So if you want to do a $10 trade, you're going to pay 3 cents. All right? And the liquidity pool fee is the liquidity pool fee is paid in the N token. So in our liquidity pool for our ecosystem, if you want to buy some MU, so if you want to buy some MU, then you need to sell us some United States coin. You're going to sell us United States coin. You're going to give us the United States coin. You're selling it to us. and we're selling you, you are buying mu. So we're buying United States coin, you're buying mu. You're selling United States coin, we're selling mu in that trade. So you're going to give us some USDC coin, we're going to give you some mu. All right? So your fee in that transaction is going to be paid in whatever the token that you're providing. So whatever token you're selling, that's the token that the fee is collecting in. So if you're selling United States dollar coin, then there is a fee, a liquidity providing fee that you're paying on top of your transaction. That fee goes into the pool, and that fee is given to the liquidity pool providers. That's why they provide liquidity, because they get these fees, all right? And these fees, although they look small, 0.03%, based on trading volume, when you annualize them based on trading volume, they can get to literally hundreds of percent a year based on the trading volume of that actual pool, all right? There are liquidity pools that have $100 million in the liquidity pool. There's $100 million in the liquidity pool, but they do $200, $300 million worth of trade volume every single day, because it will just be $1 million trade, $1 million trade, $1 million trade, $1 million trade. And you can see that the 3% fee is based on the trading volume, all right? It's not based on how much you actually put inside, it's not, the fees generated aren't based on how much liquidity is in the liquidity pool, meaning there could be $100 million in the liquidity pool, and it could generate 0 fees if there's no trading happening in that pool. The fees are only generated whenever a trade happens, and the fee is paid by the trader. So whoever wants to make the trade, if you want to buy some mu, then you're going to pay some USDC to this pool, you're going to get some mu, and you're also going to pay a fee, this liquidity pool fee, in the coin that you're trading, so in USDC. That fee stays inside the pool, and it is claimed by the liquidity pool owners. So the liquidity pool, the people who have provided the actual liquidity, at the end of the day, the people who provide liquidity, it's their assets that they're putting in there. All right, they're saying, hey, look, here's some of my mu, here's some of my USDC coin. You let people trade between it. If somebody wants to give you some USDC coin, that's fine, give them some mu. If somebody wants to give you some mu, that's fine, give them some USDC coin. So those people, the liquidity pool providers, it's their money, it's their assets that they're putting there, that they're allowing people to actually trade between, and they're doing that in order to receive this liquidity pool fee. All right, so hopefully that makes sense. Now, what are the risks? What are the risks? Now, there are risks when providing liquidity. You have your general risk that you have in crypto if you're providing liquidity for unknown projects. And there are actually a lot of liquidity pools that incentivize you to provide liquidity, and they're literally scam projects. And what they do is they offer you a very high reward in order to provide liquidity, all right? So they offer you a very high reward in order to provide liquidity. Let's say 300% APR. Oh, wow, fuck me. They call it APY, annual percentage yield. That's a lot, 300%. Oh, hell yeah, I give you $1,000. You give me back 4,000. So I get my 1,000 back, plus I get $3,000 worth of interest money. Hot diggity fucking dog, boys. I'm rich. Easy money could never get easier. Well, what ends up happening, in order for you to get that 300% APY, in order for you to get that, you have to provide the liquidity, which means that you actually have to go in and you have to acquire both assets. So let's say they have token X, which is scam coin. They have some Ethereum, let's say, and they have some scam coin. Now, in order for you to get this 300% APY for providing liquidity to Scamcoin, you need to go get you some Ethereum, and however much Ethereum you want to put in, you need to get that same amount of Scamcoin. So you need to first go buy some Scamcoin. Once you buy some Scamcoin, then you can provide liquidity. Well, you need to buy some Scamcoin, and then you also need to have this Ethereum, and then you can provide liquidity, and then you can get this 300% APY. All right? And what usually happens in these types of liquidity pool scams are you have some Scamcoin. Now, the creators of Scamcoin, they initially put up a small amount of Scamcoin that they got for free because they create it from the contract. The contract mints it, the contract creates it. All right? So this contract mints their Scamcoin, it creates their Scamcoin. So they take some free Scamcoin and they go buy some Ethereum. Sometimes they don't even actually buy the Ethereum. Sometimes what they actually do is they have what's called a pre-sale. And in the pre-sale, you're not dealing with a liquidity pool on an exchange. You're dealing directly with a smart contract. So you're dealing directly with the smart contract, and you'll give in some Ethereum to the smart contract. They'll mint you out their Scamcoin. All right? Then they'll take this Ethereum that they got. And so to give you an example, maybe they'll sell you 100 Scamcoins for 1 Ethereum in the pre-sale. So in the pre-sale, they're going to give you 100 Scamcoins for every 1 Ethereum. It's a great deal. So you go buy 1 Ethereum worth of Scamcoins. Boom. Now they got 1 Ethereum. Okay. So now what can I do? Now I can take my 1 Ethereum and I can mint myself. I can create for free, just like I created for you when you gave me that 1 Ethereum. I can create myself 1,000 Scamcoins. So now I take my 1 ETH, and I take my 1,000 Scamcoins, and I put them in this liquidity pool. All right? I got the ETH from you. You gave me 1 ETH. I gave you 100 Scamcoins. So the Scamcoins were free. I created them out of thin air. That's how cryptocurrency works. That's how fucking money works in general. It's just created out of thin air. All right? So I created that out of thin air. I got your 1 Ethereum and I gave you the 300 Scamcoins that I created out of thin air. I then took your 1 Ethereum and I created another 1,000 Scamcoins out of thin air. So both those assets I got for free. I put my 1 Ethereum and my 1,000 Scamcoins into the liquidity pool. Boom, I provided some liquidity. Now other people can come to this pool and they can trade. They can give their Scamcoins and the pool will give them Ethereum. Or they can give their Ethereum and the pool will give them Scamcoins. Well, in this scenario right now, there's only 2 people that have Scamcoins. That's me, the Scamcoin creator. I told you guys I was a scammer. And you got this investor. This investor has invested 1 Ethereum. They got 100 Scamcoins. All right? Now what's happened? Now I've taken my Ethereum. Boom, I got for free from my investor. I put it in the pool with 1,000 Scamcoins that I got for free. So there's only 2 people who can come to this pool and sell Scamcoins and get Ethereum. I can do that because I can just create as many Scamcoins as I want. I can create myself 10,000 more Scamcoins. I can sell those Scamcoins to this pool, and I can get this Ethereum out, all right? Or this investor of mine. This investor of mine can take his 100 Scamcoins, and he can sell it to this pool, and he can get some Ethereum. But hopefully you can see what will happen. My investor's probably not going to do that because he paid 10 times more for his Scamcoins than what he can sell them for over here. So right now in the crypto space, my investor is left holding the bag. So my investor is holding the bag right now. All right. I have created this liquidity pool. He can go sell his Scamcoins to this pool if he wants, but he's selling them at a rate where inside the pool, the true cost is the true cost inside this pool is, is one scam coin is equal to 0.001 ETH. But he actually paid over here, one scam coin is equal to 0.001 ETH. Oh, sorry. Let's change that. All right, I had to change that a little bit. So he's getting a bad deal if he goes and sells. He's probably not going to sell. So now I'm going to incentivize you, other investors, to buy my scam coin. Why? Because you can provide liquidity and get 300% APY. Woo, 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 woo. Yep, that's great. All right, so what do you have to do? You have to first take some of your Ethereum and you have to go buy my scam coin from this pool. Okay? So you have to go in and actually take your Ethereum and you have to go buy some scam coin. Once you buy that scam coin, then you can take more Ethereum and the scam coin that you just bought, and you can provide that to this liquidity pool. And once you do that, you can start to earn this massive APY. Now, other people are going to also maybe want some of this APY, this 300%, because it's easy fucking money, boys and girls. And we all know how all of us just, that's what we're looking for. We're looking for this magical easy money. We can clearly look out into the world and see the vast array of people all over the world that are rich and billionaires and living their dream through these, done for you, just push a button, fairy tale, super easy money-making schemes, which is why we still believe in them, because we have all this real-world proof where it actually works, ladies and gentlemen. So naturally, we're going to get some more people who want to get this 300% APY. And what are they going to do? They're going to go take their Ethereum. They're going to give it to this pool. They're going to get some scam coin. And then they're going to take more Ethereum and the scam coin that they just bought, and they're going to stick it in this pool. Now, the whole time, what am I, the scam coin creator, doing? Every time they add Ethereum in here, there's less scam coin for people. There's less scam coin for people to buy. So I'm going to create myself some more scam coin. I'm going to sell the scam coin to the market, and I'm going to pull this Ethereum out and cause the price of scam coin to go down. When these liquidity pool providers, you're totally visible, by the way, can see you, like, can totally see you. So I'm gonna go in, and when these guys are coming in and buying and giving Ethereum to get this scam coin, they're pushing the price of scam coin up. Scam coin's going up. Scam coin's going up. All right. Now, what am I doing? I'm paying these people this 300% APY. I'm paying it to them in scam coin. They're actually getting it in scam coin. So I'm going to give you 300% additional scam coin. So now there's more scam coin on the market. In order for people to keep coming to this pool and buying scam coin, I have to keep creating new scam coin and putting it on the market. So I'm diluting this. Every time Ethereum comes in and scam coin comes out, I just go create more scam coin. I stick it back inside here, pull out the Ethereum so I can get the next guy to come in and buy some scam coin. All right? Now, I'm paying you rewards, and I'm paying that to you in scam coin. So anyways, there are typical scams like this, but your biggest risk and the most common risk inside a liquidity pool is what's called impermanent loss. All right? It's what's called impermanent loss. And we're going to make a super easy way for you guys to actually understand. All right? Let's say again we have this liquidity pool where we have Ethereum and we have USDC. We have United States dollar coin. All right? So now let's say we want to go provide some liquidity to this pool, and we're going to provide 5 Ethereum. And let's say the price of Ethereum, 1 ETH, is worth $300 or $3,000. So we're going to give 5 ETH plus we're going to give 5 times 3, $15,000, because that's the proportion in here. So we're going to put 5 ETH over here. We're going to put $15,000 over here for a total of what you can see is 30. So $30,000 is what we're going to put inside our liquidity pool so that we can earn some fees. We can either earn some fees in Ethereum or we can earn some fees in the United States dollar coin when people are actually trading between these two assets. All right. So, all right. So we've done that. Now, hopefully you can see that inside the liquidity pool, the assets are always, you're always giving 50% weight of each asset. So there's always 50% of each asset. If you're going to provide $10,000 worth of one asset, you have to provide the equivalent amount, the equivalent same value amount in the other asset. You can see it's not always the same. You're providing 5 of these, but not 5 of these. You're providing 15,000 of these, or you're providing 15,000 of these, but you're only providing 5 of these. So the amount of each that you're providing is not equal, and it's not 50%. The value of each is equal in 50 cents. The value of this is worth $15,000 because each one's worth $3,000, and the value of this is worth $15,000 because each one's worth $1, and you're giving a total of $30,000. 50% of the $30,000 is here. 50% of the $30,000 is here. So there's $15,000 here and $15,000 here. You've provided the liquidity. Now you're making that passive income, and this is passive. This is pretty passive because now as people trade between these assets, you're getting a fee. All right. Now impermanent loss comes into play when you have this situation where whenever you provided liquidity to this pool and you provided 5 Ethereum and $15,000, that your 1 Ethereum was worth $3,000. So now if the price of Ethereum goes down, and let's say the price of Ethereum is worth $18,000, you have now just experienced impermanent loss. So you've now experienced impermanent loss because now if you go pull your assets out of this liquidity pool, they're worth less now than they were before. So now they're worth less than they were before, which means that now you're going to have approximately 5 of, let's just make it 1,500. Now it's approximately a 50% loss that you've had. Now you're mitigating that loss a little bit with whatever of these fees that you earned. Maybe you earned $1,000 worth of fees, but you've still lost $15,000 worth of value because the assets that you put in were worth $30,000 and the assets that you pull out are now worth $15,000. All right, that's called impermanent loss, and that impermanent loss is called impermanent loss because it's not permanent and it's not actually realized. So it's not permanent and it's not realized. You don't realize the loss until you actually remove your tokens from the actual liquidity pool. If you leave your tokens in the liquidity pool and then your Ethereum goes up and it actually goes up to 31,000, then not only have you made the fees from trading, but you've also made an unrealized gain of $100 due to the increase of the value of your assets. And these do typically trend upwards over time. Now, they don't go linearly upwards. They go, as you guys have all probably seen, they go something like this, but they do generally trend to go upwards over time, as most things do. All right, so that is an overview of liquidity pools, what they are and how they function, and that is part of the information that you really need in order to be able to actually understand our full ecosystem. So now I've got a couple more concepts I'm going to need to talk to you about.